Hi there, everybody. Welcome to this very special edition of Sun Devil Sit Down. Today we have the absolute privilege of speaking with Arizona State University's head athletic director and vice president for University Athletics, Ray Anderson. Ray, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
It is my pleasure, Blake, and it's always a joy for me and inspiring for me when a young whippersnapper, up-and-comer with a lot of aspiration and interest and passion in the work wants to sit down, so I'm happy to have you visit with us.
Well, you were once a young man with aspirations and goals and still do have those goals. Can you just start off by telling me about your journey to getting to this position you're in today?
Well, it's a long journey. You may not know, but I'm 68 years old, so I'm one of the old dogs in the street, in the alley, if you will. So I started out and wanted to be a lawyer, so I did that coming out of Stanford, and then I went to a firm in Atlanta, Georgia, where I was able to do some labor litigation and also do some sports law. Went to a firm in San Francisco, helped co-found a sports law practice in a firm in San Francisco, Heller Ehrman. And then I opened up a West Coast branch for an athlete management firm called Sports Advisors Group out of Boston. And then I started my own company, AR Sports, and ran that for 15, 16 years, and then got recruited to the Atlanta Falcons by Arthur Blank, and I was there for 4 years. And then I got recruited by Commissioner Tagliabue to go to the NFL as the head of football operations, and he resigned. Roger Goodell took over and was there for 8 years. And then got recruited here by President Crow 9 years ago to be the athletic director. So that's kind of my journey here.
It's a long journey, and something that just listening to that caught my attention was your transition from law to athletics. What was that transition like?
Well, it was natural for me because I grew up playing sports and didn't have the professional skills to go play professionally, but always wanted to be involved in sports. So had the opportunity as a lawyer, first training as a labor litigator into more traditional corporate firms, and then that led me to the opportunity to be able to expand my practice and start representing young professional athletes and coaches. So it was the combination of wanting to be a lawyer and then combined it with sports, and then that became my formula for advancing my career as a sports lawyer.
And someone who helped pave the way for you to have all those opportunities was Martin Luther King Jr., who is a strong advocate for equality and promoting diversity. What were some of the principles he stood for that you've tried to implement into your profession?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that you have a responsibility to lead. You have a responsibility to try to bring others up with you, to put a hand out and make the way, hopefully, in the path a little more manageable for folks coming after you. So just a community responsibility, and also the fact that when you're African American or when you're a person of color, you have limited opportunities. So when you have it, you got to really take advantage of it and do it the right way. Otherwise, you will be a bad example for those that you would like to inspire. So Dr. King was lead appropriately, lead with honor, lead with ethics and integrity as much as anything. That's what I got from Dr. King's teachings.
And as we know, diversity doesn't just come in the form of color, it also comes in form of background. Of the 26 varsity programs you have here at ASU, 20 of them have at least one international athlete. What's it like to see the staff you've hired to have been able to recruit athletes from all over the world and just enhance the depth and culture here at ASU?
Well, it's gratifying, and it's in line with what this university stands for under the leadership of Michael Crow. I think outside of the New York University system, we have more international students here than any other university in the country, unless I'm wrong. And so that's part of our culture. That's part of who we are. So I'm always delighted when our coaches are recruiting internationally, because I think that makes your whole student body experience more robust, more worldly, more advancing the future. And so I take great pride in our coaches making sure that international students have opportunity here in ASU sports and athletics.
And many of those international athletes are on the women's triathlon team, which just won its 6th straight national championship. And also many of them are on the men's hockey program with that new Mullet Arena. It's attracted many fans and people from outside of town just coming in to see the new ice there. And What's it been like? Because you've kind of seen those two programs from start to finish, from when you were first hired to now. What has that been to see the rise of those two programs?
Well, just great gratification, personal joy for the university, and then very frankly, personally, to know that your work and your vision and your collaboration with coaches like Greg Powers in hockey and Cliff English, and their vision for internationalizing as much as they can the opportunities here in triathlon and hockey respectively, and then see them have such success with a great number of international student athletes, and then lift up Sun Devil athletics, and our whole experience here has been very gratifying. Our women's triathlon team is just phenomenal to watch, and now you see what's going on at Mullet Arena with the men's hockey team, and the other things that are happening in that venue gives you great pride. So I'm very happy for those two teams, those two coaches, those two set of student athletes, and very proud of the international flavor we have across those two sports, Blake.
And just with that new venue in Mullet, which serves purposes for hockey, gymnastics, and wrestling, what was your mentality when you were going through the process with constructors of wanting that arena and the purpose you wanted for it?
That it wasn't just for Sun Devil athletics, that it was going to be a community-facing and community service venue. And so you have the community ice sheet, where you have youth leagues and club leagues, and adult leagues and ice skating lessons, and you'll have camps and clinics in there that serve the community and aren't even part of ASU, but we're serving the community. So one of the goals was to make a venue that was just not a service to Sun Devil athletic sports programs, but the community at large. Concert shows, festivals are going to be in there, comedy shows, musical shows, and then high school championships. I think this weekend we have the high school ice hockey championship in there, for instance. So to have a venue that has impact way beyond our own borders of Sun Devil athletics was one of the drivers and one of the real keys there for us. And that's why we got Dr. Crows and the Board of Regents backing from the very beginning, because it was not going to be just a selfish Sun Devil athletics venue, but one that serves our entire community. And that's been the most gratifying thing of that new facility.
And giving back to the community is something that ASU has done for a long time, especially as I see back here a lot of Native American culture here, and this university is basically all built on native land. How much do you respect that and try to acknowledge that, that fact?
Tremendously respectful. That's why we recognize and have the heritage recognitions across our community members, including our tribal community. So it's very prideful. In the athletic football stadium behind us, we have a number, as you know, of the tribal festivals and gatherings. And we want all of our facilities to have that access being available for such things. So that's a great pride point here at ASU, and certainly in Sun Devil athletics.
You mentioned earlier your athletic career at Stanford. One of your teammates, Kenneth L. Shropshire, is the CEO of the Global Sport Institute. What is your relationship with the GSI, and what kind of impact have you seen that have on student athletes?
Well, it's been a great learning experience. One of the things that I'm most proud of with Professor Shropshire is he and I went to Stanford together and played football together. In fact, I recruited him out of high school when I was at Stanford. He came to campus. I was his host. And we've been teammates, and then friends, and then business colleagues, and now academic colleagues for years. So to see him come to ASU, start the Global Sports Institute, and now be able to turn it over to Scott Brooks, who is the new CEO now, as Professor Shropshire is now emeritus, has also been a great personal joy for me, because we started off together as two young men, younger than you are now, in Stanford, and fast forward all these years, and he's had great success. And so we work very collaboratively with the Global Sports Institute, and will continue to do so, hopefully for the good, for many years.
And the Global Sport Institute partnership has helped give way to new partnerships like the Pac-12 SWAC Legacy Series that happened this year, including ASU men's and women's basketball programs. How do you plan to continue to build upon these partnerships with inclusivity in mind?
Intentionality. In fact, we had the new head of equity and diversity for the NFL on campus today, and one of the things we talked about was continuing that legacy series with the SWAC, Southwestern Athletic Conference, by doing more of those events and making more of an educational component a greater part of the events going forward. So it's so good for our student athletes to have that interaction, to have that opportunity to engage with historically black college and university students who are having a much different experience than we are here at Division I schools in the Pac-12, to have them get a chance to know each other, talk to each other, exchange notes, and hopefully develop lifetime friendships. So the first year was so successful that the Pac-12 will continue that in earnest going forward. It's just a matter of how we're going to improve it.
And to finish off, you're one of the 15% of Division I athletic directors who are black. What does it mean to you to have been able to defy the odds and to be in the powerful position you are in today?
It means that you know it's absolutely doable, possible, with hard work and opportunities presented, and then taking advantage of that. And so I'm one who is very optimistic about folks who are desirous of opportunities if they pursue it with the vigor and they come up in environments where folks are open-minded to giving you an opportunity. I believe that is the American way at the end of the day, and I believe in that. So I sit as hopefully as a role model and an example of it can be done, it has been done, and it will be done more regularly in the future is my hope.
And being that role model, what do you hope to leave as your legacy as ASU when it's all said and done?
Well, you know, legacy is a big word, a big concept, but what I would hope to leave is that people will look back and look at the body of work and be objective and say Sun Devil Athletics and the university at large is just a little bit better because Ray Anderson spent some time working and really committed and loyal to this community. I'm just hoping that the memory will be a positive one about trying to make a better place for anybody who has ever touched Sun Devil Athletics in this university.
Well, Ray, we thank you for coming to Sun Devil Athletics and the impact you have had already, and we will continue to follow you as you continue to break down barriers in collegiate athletics and inspire others to do the same. That's going to do it for this edition of Sun Devil Sit Down. You can keep up on all Arizona State athletic programs at cronkitesports.com, and you can give us a follow on our socials at Cronkite Sports. For Ray Anderson and the rest of the crew that makes it all possible behind the scenes, I'm Blake Niemann. Thank you for watching, and happy Black History Month.